Hello, my name is Jasmine Miller. I'm the owner of Co-Ed Counseling and Wellness, and today we will be talking about balance. Today we will be discussing becoming balanced, mental health for people that are overworked. If you have been working a long time, like I have, then maybe this could be some good advice for you. This is education. This is not an alternative for counseling. Once again, I'm Jasmine Miller, your host, and let's see how we can become more balanced. This conversation matters because burnout is not a rare thing anymore. It's become a normal way of our life. Our our productivity is often prioritized over our well-being. We're putting more effort into how productive we can be than our overall health. Chronic stress from being burnt out impacts your mental health, your emotional health, and your physical health. And balance here is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The objective of this presentation will be to understand how overworking impacts your mental health, identify signs of burnout versus regular stress, learn how imbalance shows up in your daily life, and to practice realistic strategies for balance. And by the end of the presentation, you will be able to leave with tools that you can use today, immediately. Overworked mind and body. What does overworked really mean? Being overworked isn't just about overworking hours. It's about that constant mental load, the thinking about the little idiosyncrasies of life, the emotional labor, the care that you have to put into taking care of yourself and others, the lack of recovery time, the lack of transition time between activities from work to cook to sleep to home. And the main one is feeling on all the time. Overworked is when you're feeling on all the time. And even when you try to recover, you feel like you don't have enough time to recover. Stress versus burnout. Here we're going to talk about the differences between stress and burnout. Stress is often temporary, comes and it goes. It's short term and it's motivated by something. And it usually improves with rest. Burnout, on the other hand, is chronic. It deals with, it involves emotional exhaustion. It leads to cynicism and detachment from life. And also, burnout also leads to a reduced sense of accomplishment. I know some other signs of burnout could be, just thinking about my clients here, being irritable very easily by things that you're no longer, being irritated by things that aren't that big, not wanting to go to work, avoiding things that you know that you must do. How burnout shows up. Just like I said, usually burnout can show up as irritability or numbness with emotions, just feeling numb a lot, trouble sleeping, trouble shutting off your brain in the evenings, brain fog, forgetfulness, loss of joy or motivation in things that really make you happy. Physical symptoms can also be a way that burnout shows up: headaches, not wanting to get out of bed, fatigue, very tight shoulders, always a tight jaw. Burnout can show up in many ways. How burnout connects to your nervous system. When your body is overworked, it keeps your body in survival mode. It's like your body does not feel like it gets a chance to recover or rest. Fight, flight, or freeze becomes your default. It's either become aggressive, run, or freeze. You don't know what to do. The balance I'm talking about today requires regulation, not just rest. It requires a constant regulation. The imbalance in daily life. Now we're going to talk about the imbalance in daily life. Signs your life is out of balance. If you feel like you're always behind no matter how much you do, You have a difficult problem saying no. You feel guilty when you actually take the time out to rest. And if your identity, like mine used to be, is tied to how much you can produce, and if you're neglecting your physical needs, such as eating, sleeping, deep breathing, or your emotional needs, such as you don't cry, or you don't express your anger, or you mask, it could be signs that your life is out of balance. The cost of chronic imbalance. So with all that happening continuously, it leads to an it leads to an increase in anxiety and depression. It leads to strained relationships because we try to produce more than we can connect and communicate. It leads to health complications. If you notice people who are always stressed or sick a lot, decrease work performance. You may not be up to par in which the job expects. Emotional shutdown. You just detached and shut down from things that should matter to you. And why does this balance feel so hard though? It feels hard because a lot of the time we have unrealistic expectations. We believe that we can do everything and everything is important. A lot of us have a lack of boundaries. We don't know when to say no, so we say yes to everything. We engage in people pleasing, trying to appease everyone, which is really impossible. We have financial struggles, especially this day and age in 2026. And honestly, that cultural glorification of busyness. I'm always busy. I'm booked and busy. It feels hard to find a balance when we're always supposed to be seen as being busy and occupied. They make rest seem like a bad thing, which is not. Rest is honestly fundamental one of the fundamental steps to wholeness. It's rest, air, water, food, and sleep. Becoming balanced is not perfect. Balance does not mean that everything's going to be equal and it's going to flow even and it's always going to be calm and there'll be no stress. That does not mean that. It's not balance. Balance does mean that you're aware and you're present and that you can adjust when things don't go the way that you feel that they should go. And then that there's always intentional recovery. You ground yourself, you practice emotional regulation skills to get through it. Now here is where I talk about the tools of becoming balanced. Here's some tools that you can use. Once again, balance should be flexible. What balances you this season may not balance you next season or last season. Your balance should be personalized to you. What balances you may not balance a friend or an associate or a coworker. It's seasonal. Once again, what balances you this season may not be what balanced you last season. This season, you may need more work. Last season, you may have needed more rest. And balance for sure is intentional. You won't fall into balance. You must plan it and actively, intentionally go after being balanced. The four areas of balance that I talked about here are mental balance, balancing your thoughts, your focus, and your overwhelmness. Emotional balance, talking about feelings, expressing yourself, and support with others. Physical balance, which is one, if you follow me on any of my socials, I'm a physical person because that's how I learned to get out of depression through physical. That was my start. Sleeping well, moving my body on a consistent basis, and actually eating things that fill me up, that work for me. Protein, colors of the rainbow, green things, orange things, red things, eating those things. And connection, relational balance, connection to others, and having boundaries for yourself. One of my colleagues also, she mentioned spiritual balance. One thing I have noticed about being a therapist is that if you're connected to something spiritually, you kind of have a higher chance of getting through the emotional overwhelmness of whatever you're facing. Whether you connected to God or you connected to worshiping trees, as long as you have something that is, I would say, of a higher power than you that you can connect to, having that spiritual connection is also like a extra input on that balance. So these are the areas in which balance should happen. Where do you feel balanced? Which area of your life has the most balance? In which area of your life do you need more balance? For a long time I was very physically balanced, but my connection to my family was not, and I had to do some switching around to make these things better to work for me. Small shifts matter when it comes to balance. You won't become unbalanced and imbalanced overnight. That's not how this works. Small shifts matter. So incorporating one boundary at a time, whether it's I don't answer my phone after 10 o'clock. That's a boundary. When you say something that you do, starting with I, that's a boundary. But if you're telling someone that's something that they should do, that's a rule. So setting boundaries is about yourself. Rules are for others. Okay. Here we go. Small shifts matter. Setting one boundary at a time. One intentional pause every day, whether that is 15 minutes sitting in your car before you transition to your next responsibility. It pause intentionally to give your brain a chance to transition. I notice sometimes we become overwhelmed because we don't take time to transition. Schedule recovery. You have to schedule spa dates. Schedule time to do nothing. Because if you don't, you won't. Lower the bar without feeling guilty. It's okay if you set a goal and you have not mastered that goal yet. It's okay to lower it down a little bit so that you can attain it. Goals should be smart, which are specific, measurable, attainable. You should be able to reach it. They should be relevant to your life and they should be time bound, giving yourself a specific time limit. And the number one thing I would like to say right now is asking for help. It's okay to ask for help. Asking for help does not make you weak. It actually makes you much stronger because it shows that you could put your pride aside and ask for what you need, which is a necessity. All right, here we go. These are some small shifts that you could incorporate now. I wonder which one could you do starting today? A reminder, self-care is not just spa days. It's not just another task or responsibility. It's not, I finally finished everything, now I can wash the dishes. That's not self-care. That's just another responsibility. Self-care is consistent. It's consistency with doing the things that enrich you, that don't hurt anyone else. It's boundaries. It's regulating when things get hard and coming back to center. It's not saying that things won't go bad. It's saying that when things go bad, I can regulate and still be in my window of tolerance. And if you haven't learned about the window of tolerance, please check out my window of tolerance video. It's self-care, self-compassion, not being too hard on yourself for making the mistakes, because mistakes are human. I want to add in here, consider professional support such as a therapist or a coach when burnout feels unmanageable, when you can't get out of bed, when you feel emotionally numb or stuck. If the stress is impacting your relationships or your health and you notice that you're always sick, you don't want to be around anyone. If you feel that your coping strategies aren't working, the runs aren't working, the exercises aren't working, the lifting isn't working, the talking to friends isn't working, the going out isn't working, consider professional help. And if you're looking for a new therapist, I am Texas wide. Balance starts with awareness. First, being aware that things aren't going right, and then giving yourself permission to change that thing, because sometimes we are comfortable with where we are, even though it sucks. I wonder who can relate to that. Balance starts with being aware that something is out of balance, out of whack, giving yourself permission to change it, and then putting in small intentional changes daily, consistently. I tell my clients and anyone I coach that when moving forward, it's like moving across a football field. I don't think of life as moving up. I see life as we're moving across a field. Some of us are running, some of us are walking, some of us are crawling. I remember at one time I was scooting along, but even scooting and crawling and inching along, all of that matters as long as you're moving forward, because all of it is forward movement. Everything you learn and you change and you grow from, that is forward movement. So setting those small intentional changes can lead to big changes. $1 is 100 pennies. 100 pennies, those small things equal up to $1. When it comes to balance, you don't need to do more or fix everything. You just need to do it different. As we wrap up today, I want to just for you to discuss and reflect in the chat. What's draining you right now? Is it family, life, kids, relationships, work? What is restoring you right now? What is actually pouring back into your cup? Is it your social life? Is it getting drunk on Fridays? Is it turning up with your girls or your homies on the weekends? Is it disconnecting from the world for a couple of hours every day after work? What is restoring to you? And what can you adjust? Not eliminate. I'm not saying we need to change the world, but what can you adjust right now that'll help you? Once again, I'm Jasmine Miller, service throughout telehealth statewide of Texas. My home headquarters is in Houston, Texas. You can find me on all socials at Jasmine, that is JAZSMENE.HTX on all platforms. You can also see me on YouTube as Cool As Counselor, Cool AZZ Counselor. Once again, this has been education. This is not a substitute for therapy. I hope you join me next time to talk about the window of tolerance. I'm the owner of Co-Ed Counseling and Wellness. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. I hope you have a great one. Peace.